Hi Gandhi class, welcome to your fifth and final maths lesson for this week and for this term. It was so fantastic seeing you guys in our live session earlier today. And I know one of you said that you found this question from activity 2 a little bit tricky. So I'm going to go through and show you how to answer it. So you were given a bar chart, and the first question, which is the one that you said you found tricky, said, what information is missing from the bar chart? So what you needed to do here was think about what a bar chart needs, then find the thing that it could have been missing. So let's have a look. This is the bar chart. And the first thing we'll look for is a title. So a title tells us what the bar chart is showing. Does this bar chart have a title? Great work, it does. So it's a bar chart to show the favorite flavor of ice cream in year 3. So you can tick that off because it's got a title. Now let's have a look at the bars themselves. Do they have an equal distance between, and are they all the same width? What do you think? Super, so they are all an equal distance and they are all an equal width. Now, do we have a sensible scale for the numbers? Well done. Yes, we do. So that's another thing we can tick off. And we've also got what each of the bars shows. However, the thing that we are missing is the labeled axes. We don't know what exactly these axes are showing. So what we would write for this question as our answer is the missing information from the bar chart is the labeled axes. Now, if we were labeling them, what do you think we would call them? Pause the video and have a think. Well done. So for this bottom one here, we've got vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, mint, toffee, and other. That tells us the flavors. So I would write flavors of ice cream as the labeled axes for this one. Now over here, this shows us the numbers. So I would probably write something like the number of votes for each flavor. I hope that has helped. Okay, so this is our fifth lesson, and our learning objective for this lesson is, can I read and interpret information from tables? So in today's lesson, we are going to be learning to explain how to read a table, to identify key information on a table, and to add or subtract the relevant data. But before we begin, we're going to do our arithmetic questions. So can you please pause the video here and on a mini whiteboard or a piece of paper, answer these questions. Okay, let's go through the answers. So question number 1 says, how many more children have brown eyes than green? So we needed to find the brown and the green in the bar chart and then find the difference. So if we have a look for green, we can see that it's here, which means that it's probably about 3 children who have green eyes, and then brown, we've got 8. So you do 8 take away 3, which would give you 5. So 5 more children have brown eyes than green. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Okay, question number 2. What is 50 pence more than £3 and 65 pence? So you needed to add 50 pence and use your knowledge of knowing that £1 is the same as 100 pence. When your answer should have been £4 and 15 pence. So give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Question number 3 says 72 divided by 4, which is 18. So give yourself a tick if you got that correct. And question number 4, you needed to write 572 in words. Well done if you wrote it like this. Give yourself a tick if you got that correct. Okay, so here we have a table. This is our table here. The table shows which teachers own different types of pets, and you need to use this table to answer the following questions. So question number 1, how many teachers own rabbits? So what you would need to do for this question is have a look and find where rabbit is on the table, which we can see is right here. And then we'd see how many ticks a rabbit has. So Mrs. Williams does not have a rabbit. Miss Lewis does not have a rabbit. Miss Amanpour has a rabbit, so that's 1 so far. Miss Gossage does not have a rabbit, and Mrs. Merthyr does not have a rabbit. So that means that Miss Amanpour is the only one with a rabbit. So only 1 teacher owns a rabbit. Now let's have a look at the next question. So the next question says, how many pets does Miss Lewis own? So we're just interested to see how many Miss Lewis has. So what we need to do is find Miss Lewis here. And then we need to go along and see how many ticks she has got. So she hasn't got a cat, but she's got a dog. She hasn't got a rabbit, but she's got a snake, and she hasn't got a bird. So she's got 1, 2 ticks, which means Miss Lewis owns 2 pets. Okay, let's have a go at question number 3. So question number 3 says, which teachers own dogs? What do you think we're going to have to do to find this information out? Pause the video to have a think. Okay, so we need to find the dog column. So if we have a look here, oh, we can see it's there. And then we need to see which teachers own dogs. Now, because it's saying which, we need to put the names. So let's have a look. We've got a tick here, so Miss Williams has a dog. We've got a tick here, so Miss Lewis has a dog. There's no tick here. And we've got a tick here, which means Miss Gossage has a dog, but there's no tick here. So we can see that the teachers that own dogs are Miss Williams, Miss Lewis, and Miss Amanpour. So for question number 4, it is Miss Williams, Miss Lewis, and Miss Gossage. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. So the next question says, which is the most common pet? What do you think this question means? Well done. So it means the pet that appears the most. Well, how many teachers have this pet? So it's the pet that is owned the most. So have a look in the table. Which pet do you think is owned the most? Which is the most common pet? Pause the video and have a think. Well done if you said the dog. If we have a look, we can see 1, 2 teachers own a cat, 1, 2, 3 own a dog, 1 owns a rabbit, 2 owns a snake, and 1 owns a bird. So that means the dog is the most common pet. And now the last question, which says, which teachers own 1 pet? So we're looking for the teacher that owns 1 pet. What do you think the answer is going to be? Pause the video to work it out. Well done. So Miss Amanpour is the teacher that only owns 1 pet. And we can see that because if we have a look at what Miss Williams owns, she owns a cat and a dog, so she owns more than 1. Miss Lewis owns a dog and a rabbit, so she owns more than 1. Miss Amanpour only has a rabbit, so she just owns that 1. Miss Gossage owns a dog and a bird, so she owns more than 1. And Mrs. Merthyr owns a cat and a snake, so she owns more than 1 as well, which means that the only teacher that owns 1 pet is Miss Amanpour. Okay, next question. So, sorry, let me get my highlighter. There we go. The table shows the number of points scored during 2 weeks of PE lessons. We need to answer the questions about the table. So question number 1 says, what is the difference between Team E's points from week 1 to week 2? So what we'll need to do here is find Team E, find the points they have, and find the difference between these 2 points. So pause the video now to find that information. Okay, well done. So we found that Team E is here. In week 1, they scored 4, and in week 2, they scored 8. So we need to find the difference between 8 and 4. And to do this, you can do 8 take away 4, which gives us 4. Well done. So the difference is 4. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. So the next question says, which teams scored more points in week 2 compared to week 1? So what do you think this question is asking us to find out? Pause the video to have a think. Great work. So we're looking for the teams that have got more points in this week than they did in this week here. So let's have a look at Team A. Do they have more points in week 2 than week 1? No, they don't. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Team B, do they have more points in week 2 than they did in week 1? Well done, they do, because they've scored 9 points in week 2, and in week 1 they scored 5, which means they scored more in week 2. Let's have a look at C. Have they scored more in week 2 compared to week 1? No, they scored the exact same. Okay, the next one. Team D, did they score more in week 2? Well done, they did. They scored 15 points in week 2 and 14, which means they scored 1 more point in week 2. And Team E, did they score more points in week 2 than they did in week 1? Well done, they did. So they scored 8 in week 2 and 4 in week 1, which means they scored more in the second week. And Team F, what did they do? Did they score more in week 2? Well done, yes, they did. So they scored 7 in week 1, and then they scored 2 more points in week 2. So we can see from this table that Team B, Team D, Team E, and Team F all scored more points in week 2 than they did in week 1. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. So, which team had the biggest difference in points from week 1 to week 2? So this question is asking us to find out the team that had scored the biggest difference in points from week 1 to week 2. So what we need to do here is go through each team and find the difference. So let's have a look at Team A. They scored 10 in week 1 and 8 in week 2. What's the difference between 10 and 8? Well done, 2 is the difference. 10 take away 8 is 2. You add 2 to 8 to get to 10. Let's have a look at B. What's the difference between 5 and 9? Well done, it's 4. The difference between 5 and 9 is 4. You add 4 to 5 to get to 9, or you take 4 away from 9 to get to 5. And let's have a look at C. What's the difference between week 1 and week 2? Zero, it stayed the same. Okay, let's have a look at D. What is the difference between 14 and 15? Well done. So they scored a difference of 1. Okay, let's have a look at E. Team E, what's the difference between 4 and 8? Well done. 4 is the difference there. And F, what's the difference between 7 and 9? Well done, it's 2. So if we have a look here, which team or teams had the biggest difference in points from week 1 to week 2? Well done. So it's team B and team E. They both had a difference of 4 points, which is our biggest difference here. Well done. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So this table shows how long it took Sam to walk to school each day of the week. Now you need to create true or false statements about this table. So we've got the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, how long it took him to walk in the morning and how long it took him to walk in the afternoon. So on Monday, it took him 15 minutes to walk in the morning and 10 minutes to walk in the afternoon. On Tuesday, it took him 12 minutes in the morning and 17 minutes in the afternoon. On Wednesday, it was 18 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. On Thursday, it was 20 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon. And on Friday, it was 14 minutes in the morning and 14 minutes in the afternoon. Now, what we'll do is we'll share some of these in our live session, but what I want you to have a think about is some true or false statements that you could write. So, for example, you could write something like true or false. On Tuesday morning, it took Sam 20 minutes to walk to school. So you could say something like that. So what I want you to do now is pause the video and have a think about some true or false statements that you could write about this table. So pause the video to do that now. Great work, guys. Please do make sure that you upload these statements onto Tapestry so I can have a look at them. Okay, so now it's your independent task. You can choose between activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3. And then you could further challenge yourself with the challenge questions. So here is activity number 1. So 5 children have placed their lunch order for the day. You need to answer questions about the table. So you've got a table here, you've got child 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they've got sandwich, wrap, crisps, apple, and banana. And you need to work through these questions and give me the answers. So question A says, how many children ordered a sandwich? Question B says, how many children ordered crisps? Question C says, who did not order an apple? Which children ordered a banana? So which of these children here ordered a banana? Which children ordered a sandwich and crisps? And which children ordered 2 pieces of fruit? So when you see that word which, it means you need to tell me who did. And with C, when it says who did not order an apple, you need to tell me which of these children did not order an apple. Please pause the video here if you are going to complete activity number 1. Okay, activity number 2. So the table here shows the cinema attendance for 2 different films over a week. You need to use the table to answer the questions. So you've got the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you've got the film 1 and film 2. So A says which film was most popular on Monday? Which film was most popular on Friday? How many people went to the cinema on Monday? How many more people went to the cinema on Saturday than Sunday? So think about what that question is asking you to do. On Thursday, 5 fewer people went to see film 1 than film 2. How many people went to see film 1? So what you need to do here is fill in the blank. And the last question, how many people went to see film 1 over the whole week? So look at that whole week for film 1 and think about what the question is asking you to do here. So pause the video if you are completing activity number 2. Okay, activity number 3. The table shows how long Jay spent reading in the morning and afternoon each school day. So you've got the day and the minutes he spent reading in the morning and the minutes he spent reading in the afternoon. True or false, and you need to explain the false statements. So if you say true, you can just leave it as true, but if you say false, you need to tell me why. So false, because. So A, true or false, Jay always reads longer in the afternoon than the morning. True or false, and if you say false, you have to explain why. B, the difference between the morning and the afternoon reading times on Thursday is 2 minutes. True or false? Question C, the biggest difference between times reading was on Wednesday. True or false? Question D, Jay read for a total of 20 minutes on Tuesday. True or false? And question E, Jay read for a total of 20 minutes on Friday. True or false? Don't forget to explain if you chose false. So it is false because. Pause the video here if you are completing activity number 3. Okay, and the challenge. So the first challenge says, Shelley writes the following statements using information in the table. Spot 3 mistakes she has made. Both teams have more home games. 43 games were played in total. Foxley Wanderers played away twice as many times as Liverpool FC. And the total home games of both teams together is double the total away games. So you need to spot 3 mistakes she has made. Question 9 says, Billy creates some questions using the table below. So here's your table, and here are your questions. How many people use aeroplanes to go on holiday? Why do you think more people in the south travel by ferry? How many people use more than one mode of transport? And which of Billy's questions cannot be answered using the table? And you need to explain why not. So you would say, the first, second, or third question cannot be answered using the table because. Use that word because, that's an explaining word, so you need to use it. Please make sure you upload your work to Tapestry Gandhi class, and I will see you next time. Bye.